What's going on with it, world? As you can see, it's 2 a.m. Can't sleep, so the universe got me up right now, obviously, because there's some things that need to be circulating through my mind that I need to be paying special attention to. So why not share it, So the topic came up in my mind is evolution, evolving. When is it recognized, or when do you recognize when you have evolved? Well, in my personal opinion, I believe evolution starts once the mind, the spirit, and the whole physical form of you is able to look at yourself in the mirror in complete transparency and understand that you may have not been perfect, understand that situations may not have brought out the best in you in many times, but when you at this point where you can acknowledge it and accept it, and you can get to the point where as days go on, you see good in every situation, is one of the main blueprints, in my opinion, is in regards of evolution. I just look back at a lot of different trials and tribulations and a lot of great times throughout just life in general, and and it's only been on this earth 29 years, so obviously that's a good age to have a significant amount of life experience and knowledge, but it's far away from the potential knowledge and experience that we can have. And as I look at everything from a broader picture, I see the world evolving step by step, particularly in not only just the black community, but I'm seeing more and more of different nationalities actually opening up and being susceptible to understand what the black community voices, to hear our voices. They have this stigma on the black community that we always whining, we always doing this, we always doing that, we trying to change the world, but we not changing our communities. And of course, a lot of this stuff through mass media. Excuse me. Of course, a lot of this stuff through mass media, and everything plays a pretty big part in it. But a lot of the people in the community understand that we're not naive. We understand that our community and our people may not be perfect, but for people not to acknowledge everything that, and I'm just speaking specifically from the black community, because I can't speak for the Asian community, I can't speak for the Jewish community, I can't speak for any other nationality other than my own, because all my life I've been a black man. All my life I had the privilege of being a black man. So I only can definitely relate more into my ancestry and dig more into my history, so you can also to get a clear understanding why my community has a lot of great things about it, and we have some things that we need to work on, obviously, just like any other nationality. But to stay on topic, I just see in the world that even something like the football protests, the national anthem protest that was headed and spearheaded by Colin Kaepernick. Initially, and I'm quite sure a lot of people thought the same thing when he first initially took his protest. It probably would have been something that that would have been a topic of conversation for a few weeks, maybe up to a couple of months. But once it came down to the season come back around, and once the well runs dry, in the sense that people was just going to forget about it. And not only have we not forgotten about it, not only has a select few of people that I'm seeing more and more get involved and subconsciously standing behind Colin Kaepernick, whether they realize it or not, by taking a knee or by doing their peaceful protest for the national anthem. Whether you know it, whether it's that your intentions or not your intentions, you are giving him support. You were supporting the cause. He was the driver that got the engine started, in a sense. And now we start seeing more and more of everybody playing their little parts just to continue getting his message out there. And that is a great part of evolution. And even better part, you start seeing other nationalities and other people who's getting involved as well, not strictly from the black community, which is something that is definitely necessary, something that's definitely needed and appreciated. So to the soldiers, to my Caucasian soldiers and Hispanic soldiers and Asian soldiers who are doing their part the best they can to get with Colin Kaepernick's speech and the Colin Kaepernick message out there. Thank you. It's very much appreciated. And to see different nationalities starting to join in to keep the conversation going, it's a great part of evolution for me. So, and obviously everybody goes to the thing, well, how you going to expect people to respect you if you don't respect yourself? Like, at the end of the day, you can put out all the stats, we can put out all the statistics. Every community has its issues, but I don't believe this is the time where you want to start nitpicking on what this community needs to do better, what this community needs to do better, but to just clearly focus on the task at hand, the subject that is going on right now. And you just got people who, in a lot of ways, never even thought about some of the things that the black community go through, as far as from police brutality and oppression and things like that, because people fail to realize, and they may look at something like 400 years 300 years ago as something that was a long time ago. We need to just go get over it. But at the same time, you don't understand how that was basically a genocide to the black community. I mean, in a way it was looked at as if the black community was trying to get wiped out. And that is something that from my generation before, and even the generation after, is going to have embedded within their soul. It's always going to be embedded in our spirit, because we know what our ancestors went through, and we can still see some of the similarities that's going on to this day. You may not see people get lynched walking up to each and every tree around the corner, but it's not like it wasn't too long ago. I believe it's 2015 the last time a black person was lynched on U.S. soil. So it would let you know there's a lot of racism that is still embedded in this country. But to see, and I'm trying to stay positive, obviously, but to see other people getting involved and other people from different walks of life getting involved just to try to be educated, just to try to do their part to enlighten the world, to kind of take a seat, pay attention, stop nitpicking with this and that, stop thinking we looking for handouts. We're not looking for anything. The black community, in my ancestors, in my history, we throughout any situation that we ever been through, we always found a way to turn a trial to a trumpet, to triumphant. I'm sorry. We took the worst of the worst and we made the best of the situation as we very well can, which plays a big role in a lot of the resources that we use to this day, a lot of the inventions that we use to this day. Obviously, other nationalities has played their part as well to make this country for what it is, but this is the opportunity for the whole world to look at and acknowledge what the black community has done specifically for this country, from our standpoint, and for people to understand that it was no more than 50 years ago where we were still being segregated to the point where I couldn't use a bathroom because of the color of my skin. I couldn't use a particular water fountain because of the color of my skin. And affirmative action had to be in place because a lot of minorities were being who could be very well qualified for a particular position, but would not get a second look based on the color of their skin, which is something they cannot control. I mean, in the beginning of the world, when we were all born on this earth, we didn't have a choice whether we wanted to be this color, that color. We didn't have a choice on what area we moved in. We never had a choice on the situation that life played us. We just took it for what it was, and a lot of us has grown to do some great things, even with the little scraps that we're given. So for other nationalities to join the fight and understand and take the time to listen to what the black community is trying to say. I salute you. It's a beautiful process. Now, obviously, it's going to take more and more and more. We got to keep fighting, and I'm going to do my part, as I spoke with you guys earlier, in regards to just, boycotting, watching football until Colin Kaepernick is signed. And understand that, you got many different opinions about why he's not in the league. I mean, I feel as everyone in the world, at least a good chunk, who looks at everything from a realistic mind, can see why he's not in the league. And I strongly am a believer that if you don't stand together, if we don't stand collectively, then change will never come. So but that's part of the evolution I see, man. Probably see, if you said 100 years ago a situation like this was to occur, we probably wouldn't even got the same type of media coverage and the amount of support coming in. I mean, it's beautiful. Obviously, we got a lot of negative that comes with it as well for people who interpret his message the way they want to interpret it or whatnot. But that comes with evolution. You got to deal with that, with evolution. So it actually feels good. It's like the first time in my 29 years that I can actually say we sitting here, we making a stand, and I'm seeing videos, and I'm seeing people collectively join in from all walks of life, to where it's realistic that the revolution will be televised. The revolution is here. The revolution has begun. Black excellence, brown excellence, minority excellence.